Hello again, fourth grade, and welcome to lesson 6-5. We're going to work on how to solve multi-step problems. So our last few lessons have all revolved around multi-step problems. We've talked about modeling them, different ways that we can show them using equations and bar diagrams. And now we're going to do some more work on how to solve them. So let's go ahead and watch our short video lesson. And then we are going to go ahead and jump in to our guided practice and our notes for this lesson.
How can you use equations to solve more multi-step problems? Think about this question during the lesson. The students in the 4th and 5th grades are going to a concert. There are 178 students. How many rows are needed for the 4th graders? What do you need to know to find how many rows are needed for the 4th graders? To find the number of rows, you need to know how many 4th graders there are. How can you find how many 4th graders there are? To find how many 4th graders there are, you need to know how many 5th graders there are. Find how many 5th graders there are, and then subtract that number from 178. Step 1. Find and solve the first hidden question. How many 5th graders are there? How does the equation 12 times 8 equals S represent how many 5th graders there are? There are 12 rows with 8 5th graders in each row. So multiply 12 by 8 to find how many 5th graders there are in all. 12 times 8 equals 96, so S equals 96. There are 96 5th graders. This is a reasonable answer because 12 and 8 are both close to 10, and 10 times 10 equals 100. Step 2. Find and solve the second hidden question. How many 4th graders are there? Remember that there are 178 students in total. What operation do you need to use to find the number of 4th graders? Which equation represents the number of 4th graders?
Select your answer.
The equation 178 minus 96 equals F represents how many 4th graders there are. Since there are 96 5th graders, subtract to find how many 4th graders there are. 178 minus 96 equals 82. So F equals 82. There are 82 4th graders. Step 3. Answer the original question. How many rows are needed for the 4th graders? How does the equation 82 divided by 8 equals R represent how many rows are needed for the 4th graders? There are 82 4th graders, and 8 students can sit in each row. So divide to find how many rows are needed. 82 divided by 8 equals 10 remainder 2. So R equals 10 remainder 2. There will be 10 rows with 2 4th graders left over. So 11 rows are needed.
How many 5th graders are there? How many 4th graders are there? How many rows are needed for the 4th graders?
Why aren't 10 rows enough? When 10 rows are filled, there are still 2 4th graders without seats. An additional row is needed so they have a place to sit. Now you know how to use equations to solve multi-step problems.
Great job!
All right, let's go ahead and get into our notes and our guided practice. Now remember, when we're solving a multi-step problem, figure out what do you know and write it down. What are the hidden questions that they're asking you in your word problem? What operations do you need to do to solve them? What are your variables and what do they represent? And then go back and check your answers. So I gave you guys an example. Abdulkader made 96 chocolate muffins and half as many sugar cookies. How many muffins and cookies did he make altogether? So I'm going to write down what I know. I know that he made 96 muffins and half as many cookies. My hidden question is, how many cookies did he make? Because the word problem here doesn't tell me exactly how many. What operation do I need to use so that I can answer my hidden question? I need to divide 96 by 2 to find out how many cookies he made, because he only made half as many cookies as muffins. Then I need to add that amount to the 96 to find the total number of baked goods that he made. What are my variables? So I'm going to use C for cookies and then T for the total of cookies and muffins altogether. So in order to find C, I'm going to make a bar diagram. C is equal to 96 divided by 2. So 96 is my total. And I'm dividing it into two groups because remember they said that he made half as many cookies as he did muffins. So if 96 is the total number of muffins, I need to figure out what half of that is to figure out the number of cookies. So I need to do 96 divided by 2. Now I did my long division down here. 2 goes into 96 48 times. So 2 goes into 90 40 times. So 2 times 40 is 80. And I subtracted off the 80. And I'm left with 16. And then 2 times 8 will give me 16. I subtract that off and I have 0. So the number of cookies he made was 48 cookies. Now my total is going to be the 96 muffins plus however many cookies he made. And I just found out that he made 48 cookies. So my total, T, is going to equal 96 plus 48. Now when I stack and add those, I get a total of 114. So T is equal to 114. Abdulkader made 114 cookies and muffins. Now you can see all the steps that I did. I looked at my question. I wrote down what I know. I found my hidden questions. I listed the operations that I need to use. And I made sure that I identified what my variables are. Then I used equations and a bar diagram to help me solve. I did my long division to check my work carefully, and then I was able to answer my original question. Now for your guided practice, we're going to go over your questions one at a time. Now we know that the students in 4th and 5th grade are going to a concert, and there's 178 students. The 5th graders we knew originally filled up 12 rows, and each row seats 8 students. So I know that there were 96 5th graders, and we found out that there were 82 4th graders. The rows seat 8 students in each, and the total number of students is 178. Now the question is asking me, if there are only 11 rows of 5th graders, but the same total number of students, so that means there's still 178 students, but there's only 11 rows of 5th graders now. Do I need to solve the whole problem again to find out the number of rows needed for the 4th graders? Explain. So think about this. Our total number stayed the same. We're just splitting our groups a little bit differently. So no, I don't need to solve again because the total number of students didn't change. So the total number of rows for all of them is also going to stay the same. So if one less row is going to be used for the 5th graders, that means one more row is going to be used for the 4th graders. Still another way to solve the problem on the previous page. So this is the same one about the students. Instead of finding the number of rows needed for each grade, I can find the total number of rows needed for all of the students. And then I can subtract the 12 rows that they told me are going to be for 5th graders. So from the total number of rows, then I can figure out how many are needed. So I can do 178 students, that's my total number of students, divided by 8 students in each row, which tells me I need 22 rows complete rows, plus I have 2 more students left over. So 178 divided by 8 was 22, remainder 2. Now they're going to need 23 rows because all of those students need to sit down. So even if that last row isn't full, they still need a place for them to sit. So those 23 rows minus the 12 that they're going to use for the 5th graders will tell me that I still need 11 rows to seat my 4th graders. Now, all of this falls in line with the previous lessons that we've been doing. We've gone over multi-step problems multiple times now. Remember, figure out what you know, figure out your hidden questions, decide what operation you want to use to solve your hidden questions, identify what your variables are going to be, the letters and what they represent, check your answer, and then you're able to solve your original question. That's it for lesson 6-5. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.